What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about a concept that I think every single man needs to be incredibly familiar with, and that is the importance of progressively overloading life. All right, what it means to progressively overload is to slowly increase the amount of weight that you are using, the amount of stimulus that you are using in order to be able to continue to progress. This is the main driver behind hypertrophy, which means being able to get bigger muscles. So every single time you go into the gym, you lift more weights, you lift them intensely, your muscles grow, all right? That is the stimulus that is causing that growth. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I actually just got back from a trip to Miami, and you guys will probably see me dropping a vlog on that in the next couple days. And before that, I made a video walking you guys through all of the habits, of a 24-year-old fitness coaching millionaire. And when I make those videos, I watch them myself back while I'm editing, and I think, wow, my life has gotten so awesome. Like, this is legitimately where I always dreamed about being. When I'm in Miami and I'm working and I'm going to block parties and the yacht parties with the Young LA team, I'm thinking about my entire life, and I'm looking back and I'm reflecting, and I remember posting in the bathroom during my 9-to-5 job. I would go and I would post TikToks, I would post reels, I would post stories on social media in order to try to live out this dream from the sidelines. I always wanted to be able to pour my full passion into my creativity, into my videos, into my content, but I was never able to do that because I was working 8-9 hours every single day on something that was exhausting me, and it felt like the time that I did get to devote towards my passion was low energy. It was low effort. I was already spent. And now fast forward to today, I never would have guessed that I would be able to be in the position that I am right now. Making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month from fitness coaching, from posting on social media, being flown out to Miami, Florida to spend time with a bunch of other like-minded people. It's truly a surreal experience. And I'm not saying that these things to gloat or to showboat. It's just simply, these are the thoughts that run through my head. And when I think about this, I think about you guys. And I think these people need to know that back when I was posting in the bathroom of my 9-to-5 job, just thinking about how eventually maybe I could be able to make a little bit of money off of doing something that I loved, I never saw this way out. I never saw this direct path to success. And a lot of times I would end my days asking myself, is life ever going to get much better than what it is like right now? And I would honestly just think no. Like, life is just always going to be kind of dreary, kind of meaningless. It's not going to feel like it has very much color to it. In our society today, we glorify being a child. Like, think about the 21 Pilots song where it says, I wish I could turn back the time to the good old days, before we had responsibility, when we could go out and we could do whatever we want. But now we're old, and now we're stressed out. Now we're grown-ups. Now our life sucks. It's lost that color. It's lost that vibrance. And I want you guys to understand that life can get a lot better. It can get a whole lot better. And how do you go about doing that? Well, it's going to take a lot of, number one, focused effort towards a specific vision, which leads into the next one, which is planning. You need to plan accordingly. You need to have goals for yourself. You need contemplation. You need to be constantly thinking about these things, thinking about your life, because without contemplation, there is no reflection. And without reflection, your life just goes on and you never think twice about, is this really what it should look like? You never start to want more for yourself. And you also need to focus on progressively overloading, which means doing hard things in your life, doing difficult things that mold you into a better person, into an overall more capable human being. And the reason why people's lives stay so shitty is because the distractions take them away from being able to focus their effort on intentionally improving their lives. They have no nurturing of wants, which is something that I talk about often, which is they don't have a plan for the future. They don't have something that they are shooting for. They don't have something that they are striving for. They're not constantly trying to get better. They're not setting goals for themselves, whether it be materialistic goals or just very, very simple goals in terms of how many people they're helping. They don't think about these types of things. They don't contemplate it. And there's too much noise. There's too much noise in their lives. There's too much external stimulus. There's no resemblance of boredom in their lives because they're constantly picking up their phone to scroll whenever they get 2 seconds of free time. They're constantly listening to things. They're constantly listening to other people talk, other people putting ideas in their heads, which keeps them from analyzing their own lives, which keeps them from contemplating, from challenging themselves. They don't take on challenging tasks. They're not trying to do harder shit every single day, week after week, year after year. They're not trying to push themselves. And what you need to understand is that life is just like working out and improving your physique. It all comes back to this. You need to be constantly and actively trying to get stronger in every area of your life, or you will stop moving. And when you stop moving, it's a lot more dangerous than a lot of people realize. A lot of people think, oh, being stagnant, at least it's better than regressing, right? Being stagnant drives people insane. Living in the doldrums, where there is no wind that is going to blow into your sail and bring you somewhere new, that stagnation kills. To stay the same is to die. To stay the same is to wither away. And everyone has experienced this, feeling of living the same day over and over and over again before. It's like Groundhog Day, just on repeat. You wake up, you eat your breakfast, you go to work, you hate your job, you get yelled at by your boss, you maybe hit the gym after work, and then you're tired and you go home, you watch TV and you go to bed. And then weekends are the same thing. You go out with the same friends, you party, you get drunk, you regret it the next day, you feel like crap, your body still isn't in the same physical condition that you want to be in because you've gone out and you've drank and you've made these compromises throughout the week, and you just get stuck in the doldrums where the wind is never blowing. You relive that same day over and over and over again. And I myself experienced that when I worked at my 9-to-5 job, and it just wore down on me. Slowly, it starts to disintegrate your hope. And without hope, a man is nothing. Like, if you don't think that your life can genuinely get better, then you're not going to put in any effort towards trying to make it better, towards cultivating an environment that will change your entire existence, your entire aura, all right? This not progressing, this stagnation is a form of torture. We were not supposed to live life like this, a life of ease, and when I say ease, I mean relative to other humans, having very, very easy access to food, access to quick dopamine, access to drugs, and then living that day over and over again. It becomes torture. and our minds become the prison. Escaping the rat race, and escaping mediocrity and continuing to make progress is the key. When you're challenging yourself every single day, trying to do something more difficult, trying to push yourself into something that you don't want to do. I'm operating on 3 hours of sleep right now after my Miami trip. Maybe you can tell by the cadence of my voice, I don't really want to be making this video, but I need to get back into the momentum of pouring into you guys and telling you guys my thoughts of the things that I've learned over the past couple days on these trips. And this is what I reflect on. I realize, holy smokes, my life has gotten so much better. I need to be able to tell this to other people. I need to tell them that there is hope. If I can be, I want to be a light into somebody's dark life where they're contemplating terrible things, where they're asking themselves these questions that I used to ask myself. What is the meaning of life? Where am I going? All right? Progressively overloading is important in every single aspect, and I want to give you guys a couple of different ideas of how you could go about implementing this in your life. Progressively overloading your social skills. This is a huge one. For a lot of guys, they just say, hey, I'm awkward. I'm not very good at talking to girls. I'm not really good at talking to people. I'm not very good at public speaking. This is something that you can improve. With guys inside of my coaching program, I go out of my way to tell them, hey, I need you to talk to one person new at the gym every single day or at a grocery store every single day. And what they do is they progressively overload it. They go one every couple days, and then they do one every single day. And then they do 2 people every single day. They're cold approaching them. And then eventually they work up to the point where they're talking to a woman. Now they're not just talking to other guys, now they're talking to women. And then pretty soon they're talking to an attractive woman. They're slowly, progressively overloading, getting better and better with their social skills. That is something that you can change. You can actively, progressively overload your knowledge. Every single day, you have the opportunity to go out and learn more, to read books, to watch videos that are ultimately going to help you. Videos that aren't going to drown out your conscience. They're not going to drown out the voices inside of your head. They're not going to drown out the boredom. Instead, what these videos should do, what these books should do, is inspire you to go inward further, to go deeper with yourself. You can progressively overload your endurance, how much work you can do, how hard you can work, how hard you can train, how much pain you can experience, how much uncomfortability you can experience, putting yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable. What happens when people try to make massive jumps in their strength in the gym? If they just go into the gym and they say, today I want to hit 225 pounds, even though my previous PR was only 130 pounds, and they throw 225 pounds on the bar, what happens? Well, oftentimes people get injured. They tear their pec. Why is this? Why is this? It's because they didn't progressively overload. They did not earn that bench press. They went in and they threw the weight on there, and ultimately they get injured because they didn't take it rep by rep. They didn't take it day by day. They didn't earn that personal record. What happens when people try to reach for a life that they have not earned yet? When they have not put in the work that has crafted them into a more wise individual, a more capable individual, it can destroy them. Don't reach for things that aren't yours. Commit to progressively overloading you, progressively overloading your life. And every single part of life must be brought up in congruence. Your relationships, your confidence, your family, your finances, your physical body. Everything must come up together, or there will be a weak link. And so embrace the long climb and do better every single day. Go for walks to clear your mind. Get rid of these external stimulus. Find yourself bored again. Find yourself with that childlike curiosity, and it will point you in the direction that you actually want to go. It will give you wants to start nurturing as you start to blot out the noise and as you start to do hard things. So go for the walks to clear your mind and pray to God for purpose. But understand, when you pray for purpose, you're not praying for ease. In fact, it's the opposite of that. Purpose comes with sacrifice. Purpose comes when you learn to sacrifice your desires and your comfort on the altar. When you decide, part of me must die in order for my purpose to be made known to me. So commit to making that sacrifice every single day. No one is going to force you into this growth. Even if you decide to hire me as a coach, you are still the one that has to commit to putting the work in. You are the one that actively has to pursue these things every single day, day in and day out. But trust me when I say, with focused effort, with planning, with contemplation, reflection, and continuing to progressively overload, you can build a life for yourself that is so much better. A life that you are proud of. A life where you get out of bed in the morning and you're excited to get the day going. That's the type of passion that I hope every single one of you is able to find. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to drop a like down below. Make sure to drop a comment in the comment section. Drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you watched all the way through to the end of this video, because if you did, you've got an attention span of steel, my friend. And I will see you guys all in the next video.